Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the bubble. We are filming from a special location here this week at Ritter Arena at the University of Minnesota, where we have a girls' game going on here tonight, joined by Matt Harrington. And Matt, we got an exciting game set to go on behind us tonight. It's Benilde St. Margaret's and Andover, but we're up in the press box here. It's pretty special, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We get the professional level treatment certainly here at Ritter Arena, and we thank them, of course, for having us out here. Looking forward to doing this exciting game, and of course it is a part of a very busy week of high school hockey here on MN Hockey TV.
And I don't know if you noticed, Matt, but I obliged with wearing a little bit of gold here in the home of the Golden Gophers. Coming up, we'll have some highlights, and that will feature highlights from this game as well. Let's take a look. Starting off the boys' highlights with Sartell at Moorhead. Look at the Sabres, 5-0 off to a good start this season, and they get on the board first in the first period. Wyatt Laidlaw on the power play jams one in past Kai Weigel. Now it's Moorhead's turn on the power play, ripped home there by Mason Kraft. 4:20 into the second period, ties this game up at 1. But now look at this here, a mad scramble for it. Weigel is well out of position, and Carter Bollinger finishes it off for Sartell to take a 2-1 lead. Last minute of the second frame, and Moorhead is going to tie this one up. Tyden Bergeson shorthanded, a 2-on-1, and ties it at 2. Now it's the Spuds. This one will be worked, and popping the water bottle there, Mason Kraft on the power play gets his second of the night. However, Sartell fights back in the final few minutes. A good feed to the slot, and Braden Clandy finishes that one off the feed from Sean Paulson. Sartell remains unbeaten in a 3-3 tie.
We go now to a big one out of Section 6AA, the number 5 Red Knights of Benilde St. Margaret's, visiting the number 2 Wayzata Trojans. 6:25 to go in the first. This shot's going to get through from Mason Stenger. It's the opening goal for the Red Knights, and it is 1-0. We pick it up when it's 1-1, and it's another goal, this time from Junior Podine, perhaps in the best name in the state category right there. It's 2-1 now. Wayzata looking for an answer. Great patience here from Reese Wallen as he'll drop it back, and Finn D. St. Hubert gets the goal on the 5-on-3. Make that a 2-2 hockey game. Wayzata now trying to take the lead on this opportunity, and indeed they do. Britton Alstead makes it a 3-2 game with that even strength goal. Benilde, though, will not go away here later in the second period as it's tapped home in front by Caleb Koski. He'll be going on to play Division I baseball at Indiana. 3-3 game now in the third period. This shot from the point is going to get through. That's Carson Clark with the goal, and that was the start of a big third period for the Wayzata Trojans in this one. Now with 6:03 to go, 1-goal lead, and they make it a 2-goal lead. Tough bounce here as Luke Miller will cash it in the goal as that makes it 5-3. And then another goal here from Wayzata. Good patience in front and finish by Eli Mold. And that's how this one would finish, a 6-3 win for Wayzata, who stays unbeaten. They get 6 different goal scorers in this game.
All right, a couple of Class A squads that, as you can see, we had ranked last week. Northern Lakes visits Southwest Christian. Picked this one up midway through the first period, and Tate Hardacre's putting on some good moves through the neutral zone, and he snipes that into the back of the net, puts the Stars up 1-0. A couple minutes later, this is going to be a tough bounce, and it's off the glass, off the backside of the goaltender, and into the net. Tough bounce there for Northern Lakes. Eli Hoffman, the goal, to go up 2-0. And then Paul Horner, 2 minutes into the second period. It's all Southwest in this one, up 3-0. This game would change, though, in a hurry. Jacob Peterson gets Northern Lakes on the board at 4:02 of the second period. Then exactly a minute later, it's Jerome Martin who is going to cut that deficit to 1 as he jams that in out front. Look at the celly there to cut the deficit to 1. Jerome Martin then once again. This is a minute 15 later. And he's going to crash in here and fish out a loose puck and find the back of the net. 3 goals in 2:15 to tie it up at 3. And they would not stop there. Check out this 2-on-1 rush. Well executed, the give and go. Easton Anderson gets the feed from Logan Verville. 4 goals in 4:06 for Northern Lakes. They would add an empty netter and a big comeback win.
Zephyrs and Hawks rematch of a semifinal in the Class A state tournament last year. Final seconds of the first period here. Mahtomedi going to get the shot off just in time. Check the tape. It's a buzzer beater. Pete Wagner was emphatic that this one went in. It counts, and Hermantown is trailing now 1-0 after the Mahtomedi goal. 15 seconds into the second period, though, the Hawks would answer as Josh Kelpinen gets a goal to make it a 1-1 game. We're still in the first minute, by the way, here of the second period. How about this snipe from River Freeman? And all of a sudden, in the course of 40 seconds, it is a 2-1 lead for Hermantown. Great patience here from the St. Thomas commit himself, Henry Peterson. That makes it a 3-1 game for Hermantown, or rather a 4-1 game. And then we'll take this one into the third period now. A shot from Marchand, or rather from Bowman, gets tipped by Marchand. That made it 5-1 in favor of the Hawks. They win this one 5-1, and Mahtomedi finishes the weekend with a 1-1 split.
All right, Rogers out to take on Chan, 3v4 at the Victoria Rec Center on Saturday night. Pick this one up late in the first period, going to the net, and a nice backhand finish by Andy Earl. That was his second of the opening period, made it 2-0. Then, final seconds here of the opening frame, Jake Risch is denied, but then he banks it in from behind the net off the Rogers goaltender there in Aiden Dietrich to make it 3-0 Chan after one. And they would just keep pouring it on here. Actually, we're going to take the look at the replay here. Watch this. Here is the bank shot, and oh, look at that. Tough break again for Dietrich, but just a nice, smart play by Risch to get that puck back to the net. And then a minute 24 into period two, Gavin Eulenkamp made it 5-0, 16 seconds after Caden Lee's goal. And then later in the period, Jack Chris shorthanded, 6-0 Chan about halfway through this one in regulation. The scoring would slow down a little bit for the remainder of the game, but not well. We'll pick this one up now in the opening minute of the third period. Braden Willis, even strength goal there. Chan up 7-0. They add the extra point in an emphatic win for the Chanhassen Storm. And it looks like Eulenkamp picks up the even strength goal here to make it 8-0. Rogers would get a goal late, and it would be, here it is, as this is hammered home there on the point from Jaden Kurtz. And 8-1 the final. Huge win for Chan, and they are rolling at the moment. Even with that close loss to Tonka, Rogers suffers its heaviest defeat in nearly 5 years.
A rivalry that needs no introduction in the Lake Conference. Edina Eden Prairie to conclude the Edina Halle Classic. We picked this one up now in the second period after a scoreless first, and a beautiful snipe here from the Hornets. Bobby Cowan who gets the goal, and Edina takes the early 1-0 lead. We're into the third period now. Pretty early stages of the third period, and good speed across center ice here. And again, beautiful dish off and back. Tic-tac-toe it goes for Casey Vandertop, who gets Edina on top 2-0. About 4 minutes later, though, Eden Prairie looking for their first goal of the game, and they do find it. Chase Clute gets the backhand upstairs for the goal. That makes it 2-1 in favor of the Edina Hornets. Eden Prairie would pull the goaltender for the extra attacker, but it does not work out as the empty netter is put home by Mason West, and the Edina Hornets go on to win this one 3-1 over Eden Prairie. When we come back, we'll have the girls' highlights. Stick with us.
One new place, plus two of everything, plus one budget. Life math is complicated. Financial experts
Hi there.
make it easier. Affinity Plus. Getting a free streaming trial. Plus, forgetting to cancel it. Life math is complicated. Fewer overdraft fees make it easier. Learn more at affinityplus.org/betterthanfree.
All right, our hockey night in Minnesota game this week was Osseo Park Center at Champlain Park, Coon Rapids. First period here, the Bluebirds on the power play, and the sophomore Tessa Bowden finishes it off on the feed from June Semling. Bowden would pick up another here. Look at this move. Tessa Bowden to the net. We're going to take another look at this one and slow it down. Credit here on the feed. Caitlin Easton, under some pressure, gets that precise stretch pass off for Bowden. And look at this. Burning the defender inside out. Bowden gets a free roll to the net and finishes it off. A very impressive quick fire double for the Champlain Park Rapids number 11 there. However, Osseo Park Center gets on the board in the third period. Freshman Victoria Welch on the power play made it 2-1. However, just about a minute later, Kyla Keating gets her own rebound and fires in off the deflection off the glass. Keating made it 3-1 Champlain Park Coon Rapids. And then late on power play, just a little bit of a unfortunate goal there for Osseo Park Center, but the Bluebirds celebrate it. It goes to Sydney Bernovic, and it is 4-1 CPCR.
We go to Braemar Arena for a ranked battle between Maple Grove and Edina. The Crimson visiting the Edina Hornets. We pick this up late stages of the first period. It's Bella Shipley, their leading scorer, who gets the party started for Maple Grove, and the Crimson take a 1-0 lead. Now we go early stages of the second period, Crimson power play, but it's Whitney Horton who will take this one the other way, finishes on the 5-hole, and it's a shorthanded goal for Edina, and it's 1-1. We go to late stages now of the third period. This game's still tied. And how about this save from Bella Prosser, the freshman who was filling in for Danny Strom, who missed her first game of the year. She was terrific all night long for the Crimson in her first varsity start. It's a major power play here, over 5 minutes of power play time. Huge chance from Lorelei Nelson, but she just sends it high, and you're going to see the effort from Nelson to keep this play alive. And then it's Audrey Davis who also sends it high and wide. That's how this game would finish, a 1-1 tie between Maple Grove and Edina.
At the University of Minnesota, Andover at BSM on Thursday night from Ritter Arena. Huskies here are on the penalty kill, and they clear all the way down. And look at Ella Thorson. She gets there before everybody else. Nobody back for the Red Knights, and Thorson's shorthanded goal puts Andover up 1-0. Later first period, check the wicked backhand here from St. Thomas commit Nora Sauer. Huskies up 2-0. We go later now into the first period. This is about a minute later, and Hannah Olson had a great game on the forecheck all night long, and she finds the back of it there to make it 3-0. Red Knights on the power play again, looking to eat into the Huskies' lead, but it goes the other way, and it's a second shorthanded goal by Hannah Christensen of Andover to make it 4-0. Power play, or special teams rather, was the theme of the night for the Huskies. They get one on the power play here with Courtney Little from Avery Kasich. Andover 5-0. Red Knights' only 2 losses this season are to the Huskies.
We go now to Brainerd, as the Essentia Health Sports Center is the host site for Fergus Falls and Brainerd Little Falls, the Battle of the Falls. Late stages of the second period, and this one is put home by Fergus Falls. That's Avery Tonninson who gets the goal. Less than a minute later, though, the Warriors trying to respond, and they do, as there's a nice wrister by Levi Lemure. This game is going to go to the late stages of overtime now, and just some trouble off the face-off circle, a bad bounce, and it's Lily DeRosier who puts it home. A huge goal for Brainerd Little Falls. How about this? The Warriors have allowed 1 or less goals in all 7 of their wins this year.
Late conference tilt from the Plymouth Ice Center on Saturday sees Eden Prairie visit Wayzata. Opening minute of this one, and a little bit of a miscommunication there as Jordan Elvacroc scores for Eden Prairie to make it 1-0 Eagles. Later on the power play, they'll work it to the net here. It's Elvacroc shot that's tipped up over the shoulder there by Moe, and Ava Moe, the 7th grader, puts the Eagles up 2-0. Another power play chance here early in the second. Ella Conrad off the boards, and she finds the back of the net. Eagles all over the Trojans, 3-0 early in the second. Later in the second, check out this. It's about a 3-on-1. Eagles flying together, and they fly into the net. Addie Mitchell with the finish there off the feet. Now it's a Wayzata power play, early third period. Rhiannon Lawrence to the net, and Rhiannon says you can go your own way. Rhiannon Lawrence makes it 3-1 Trojans, or rather Eagles. And now the Trojans would get another one back. It was actually 4-2 to Sports Star Davy Mokelke, the goal. She's the University of Minnesota soccer commit. However, the Eagles get another one on the power play here with Kate Petrie. That would put this one a little bit out of reach. Wayzata with 2 late goals made it 5-4 in the end. But this was a final score for the Eagles.
Centennial Spring Lake Park trying to avenge an earlier loss in the season to the Maple Grove Crimson. First minute of the hockey game, and this is a pool cue shot right here. How about this? One hand on the stick, and Mia Such gets it to go for the Cougars, who take a 1-0 lead, and they would continue to put the pressure on the Crimson here, as it's Noel Hemmer who gets the goal to make it 2-0 at this point. And then also in the second period, that says 1 on the scoreboard, but it's the second, it's Hemmer again who make it 3-0 in a dominating effort for the Cougars in this one, as they beat their rival Maple Grove 4-1. Another great week of high school hockey there in the highlights. When we come back, we will have the St. Cloud State Player Spotlight. Stick with us.
One new place, plus 2 of everything, plus 1 budget. Life math is complicated. Financial experts
Hi there.
make it easier. Affinity Plus. Getting a free streaming trial. Plus, forgetting to cancel it. Life math is complicated. Fewer overdraft fees make it easier. Learn more at affinityplus.org/betterthanfree.
It's time now to take a look at our St. Cloud State Player Spotlight for the week. And this time it features the forward from Grand Rapids, the junior Gus Drennan. Gus is a leader on and off the ice and certainly understands the team concept. He loves to hunt and fish with his family, and while he does want to continue playing hockey after high school, he also wants to blend his love of writing with a career in business. Let's go out to Braemar Arena and learn more about Gus Drennan.
He's selfless. I mean, he's a great kid. He's a positive attitude every day when he comes to the rink. He works hard. You know, it's team first with him, and that's what we're looking for. And that's how I think that we're going to be successful down the long run. Is if we have more guys following his lead.
I think overall it's just being able to be around my buddies every day. Over the years, being able to watch my friends grow, come together as a team and work together for a goal.
I think he's one of those kids that kind of keeps the kids together because, you know, it's an emotional game, right? And everybody's kind of up and down. And Gus is pretty even keel when it comes to being a positive person. And I think he keeps those other kids kind of in line as far as, like, you know, giving a direction.
I feel like as soon as the season rolls around, you know, all the guys get together and it's just like a brotherhood, you know, working hard every day, hanging out at the rink. You know, even out of the rink too, just being good buddies. So, you know, I feel like the time on the bus is pretty important. You know, it gives a lot of time for the guys to bond, learn more about each other every trip, and have a fun time. So it kind of sets us up good for the next game we have on the road. So
For me, I mean, you know, sports, hockey, baseball, whatever. I mean, it kind of mirrors life. Like, these are supposed to be lessons that you can learn that really aren't that important in the, you know, as they get older. They're going to face a lot more different things. And I mean, they're supposed to learn adversity. They're supposed to learn competition. They're supposed to learn sacrifice. They're supposed to learn selflessness. They're supposed to learn leadership. Those are all things that you want to see people bring into the workforce or bring into society, right? So, you know, that's kind of our mantra. I mean, we're worried about the kids first as human beings, and you know what? The better they're doing in school, the better, you know, they're taking care of their personal lives, the better it is going to be on the rink, and it's just a good opportunity for them to grow and become good members of society as they get older.
For starters, I do a lot of whitetail deer hunting every fall. You know, I like to duck hunt, grouse hunt. We have a cabin up north, so when I'm not playing hockey, I spend a lot of time there. So I'd have to say just family tradition for me. Getting to see my family, my grandpa. I think that's big for me. So obviously, I want to try and continue playing hockey. And besides that, probably just continue my education. I'd have to say I like English the most. I like just overall writing stuff and hate to say it, but I like to write essays. I want to go study business and then see where that takes me. So that's all I kind of.
Let's look at some of our top network games of the week for the week before Christmas. We'll start on the boys' side on Tuesday night as Eastview will travel out to take on Chan at the Victoria Rec Center. There's a lot of good games late in the week. We'll pick up Matamidi at Delano in a nice Class A battle on Thursday night, December 21st. How about a nice Friday night game? Rosemont, a top 10 AA team, up to take on Hermantown on Friday night. And then we got a couple big games on the Christmas Eve, if you will. December 23rd, Cathedral at Delano, high noon from the Delano Sports Center. And then, Matt, you're on the call for this one. What a rivalry, White Bear Lake, Hill Murray, 7 p.m., December 23rd, and what a day for it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think right before Christmas, exchanging pleasantries right before the holidays, but looking forward to that one. Of course, that, in my opinion, is one of the best rivalries in high school hockey.
All right, and what do we have for the girls' slate next week?
Yes, for the girls' slate, we started out on Tuesday, the 19th at 5 p.m. It is Grand Rapids Greenway heading to Duluth to take on the Northern Stars. That's at 5 p.m. And then also at 5:30, a couple early starts here. Holy Angels at Benilde St. Margaret's, A versus AA in that one. Of course, the boys play later that night as part of a doubleheader as well. And then on Thursday, the 21st at 6 p.m., it is Warroad visiting Moorhead. Should be a compelling game there, certainly. And then finally, we have one on Friday, 7 p.m., Hill Murray at Andover. A really strong AA battle there. And then finally, Saturday, 1 p.m., you're going to be on the call for this one, Brandon, this time. It is Champlin Park Coon Rapids visiting the Minnetonka Skippers.
Yeah, Champlin Park Coon Rapids will probably face their toughest test of the year going up against Minnetonka, but I was on the call for the game last year when these two teams played, and CPCR took a little bit of a shock lead. Tonka responded in a big way, but I think the gap has maybe closed a little bit more between these teams. And then you look at some other big games. You mentioned Holy Angels, BSM, and then GRG at Duluth. A couple varsity doubleheaders in there. Those are always fun when you get both games playing back-to-back. That GRG Duluth game partners with Duluth Denfeld hosting Hermantown later that night. That's also on the network. It didn't quite make the cut of our top 5, but we got a good number of games coming here in the week before Christmas. Our Hockey Night in Minnesota games of the week. Matt will start on the boys' side with a Section 8 AA battle. It'll be Moorhead traveling down to take on Elk River Zimmerman on Tuesday night. Yeah, and of course we just saw Elk River Zimmerman quite a bit at the Edina Holiday Classic this past weekend, which we'll get to know a little bit about in just a bit on the show. But also looking forward to seeing that Moorhead Spud team as well. High expectations for them this season. And then on the girls' side, we've got a strong battle in Class A. A couple of teams that maybe haven't quite exceeded their expectations yet, but are still very strong contenders, is the Proctor Hermantown Mirage, Brandon, visiting the Simley Spartans. Yeah, and if I remember, wasn't this the game that got snowed out last year that we had to chop off our Hockey Night schedule? So we're picking it back up this year. It'll be our second trip out to Simley, and then, like you said, this should be a competitive game. A couple teams that have taken a few losses, but have played very strong schedules. So a good barometer test for these two teams coming in before Christmas. All right, here we go. It's time to take a look at our CARE 11 Top 11 rankings for the week.
We're going to start on the boys AA side here. And as you'll see, the top 2 teams in the state, both out of the Lake Conference, Minnetonka and Wayzata, remain unbeaten at 6-0, 7-0 respectfully. Chanhassen with an absolute beatdown, drubbing, if you will, of the Rogers Royals. They go up to number 3. Benilde St. Margaret's goes to number 4. They did lose to Wayzata, but again, a respectable effort, so they will not be punished for that. And you see Rosemont, they make a big jump. I believe they were number 10 last week, Brandon. And you get Holy Family, who has looked really good. They tied St. Thomas Academy Saturday. But overall, we're starting to get a little bit more clarity, but again, lots of movement as well.
Yeah, and just a word on Rosemont. I think it really speaks for itself that they're 7-1. Their only loss was to Tonka, and they also beat a Chan team that we're obviously very high on. So I think Rosemont hasn't done anything less than deserve number 6, especially when every team behind them has multiple games that they haven't won other than Holy Family. So yeah, and like you said, there's going to be a lot of these teams that will match up again over the holiday tournament period as well, and then we'll get a little bit more clarity going into our next rankings in a couple weeks.
All right, we'll move on to boys Class A now, and Hermantown stays at number 1. St. Cloud Cathedral stays at number 2, and Warroad as well at number 3. So the top 3 stays the same. Orono, Northfield, and Northern Lakes move up. Northern Lakes is actually only the true unbeaten here on the screen that you see, as Hermantown Cathedral also have ties in there. And then we welcome Delano back. Now, the big one here, Brandon, that the rankings committee was torn on was whether or not to keep Mahtomedi. And as you see, they ultimately decided to keep them with the 3-6 record. It's hard to keep a team in that is double the amount of games under 500. But again, they've played a tough schedule. You have to think they're probably going to work their way up or out eventually. But this was a really hard decision whether to keep them in.
It was, and I talked about a little bit of clarity in the AA rankings. Well, we have anything but clarity outside of probably that top 4, because every team on there is, other than Northern Lakes, is either lost games or tied games or what have you. So, yeah, we definitely struggled with the Mahtomedi, East Grand Forks, Cloquet, Esco, Carlton trio, because there's kind of transitive wins that, Mahtomedi should be ahead of Cloquet, Esco, Carlton, but because of a head-to-head, but then Cloquet, Esco, Carlton beat East Grand Forks and the whole deal, right? So it's the overall record right now, but Mahtomedi will certainly have a chance to earn its way back up, and it starts this week with Delano. They'll face the team directly in front of them. By the way, we've been calling Delano the Cardiac Tigers. They have 3 straight overtime wins.
Yeah, who knows what we're going to get in that matchup against Delano. Again, it will be on the MN Hockey TV network. And we'll go to the girls AA now, Brandon.
Yeah, girls AA, honestly, a little bit similar to boys A, where it's like, it's tough to figure this out outside of the top 3. Hill Murray beat Minnetonka. Minnetonka beat Andover. So we like those as our top 3 right now, but Andover plays Hill Murray on Friday. Could throw a wrench in the whole deal, right? And then Centennial makes the big leap up to 4. They're directly ahead of Maple Grove because they've split now their 2 meetings 1 apiece. Benilde down to number 6 after being really handled by the Andover Huskies for the second time. Northfield didn't do anything wrong, but they're going to drop, even being 11-0. We're going to learn some more about them in the next few weeks. Edina and Lakeville North 8v10 will play this week. But Matt, one thing we discussed with these rankings is really 4 through 11 right now. That could move a lot in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it absolutely could. And the committee was kind of torn on where to put Centennial, Spring Lake Park, and Maple Grove. We knew that the Cougars were going to have to be ahead of the Crimson given the head-to-head win there. But you mentioned Benilde didn't look particularly good against Andover, but they looked really good against Bemidji. They responded emphatically. So, again, if you take those 2 losses away from against Andover, and Benilde's looking at an undefeated record right now. So, very talented team there. And then Champlain Park, Coon Rapids, again, no fault of their own that they fall, still 9-2. And Moorhead as well, 8-1-1. You can make the case that they should be ahead of some of these teams, but overall, there's a lot of teams that are fighting for not a lot of spots.
That's right. And, of course, with the holiday tournaments coming up the week after Christmas, again, I think we'll have a lot more clarity when we redo these in 2 weeks. We'll look at Girls A, and, Matt, this was probably the easiest to figure out. The top 6 all stay the same. Proctor Hermantown is going to bump up from number 10 last week after piling on a couple of wins. Mound West Tonka in a head-to-head win over Breck, so they're going to leap back into our rankings at number 8. The Whitehawks under Coach Larry Olam having a good start to the year. Breck has lost a couple in a row, but still a strong overall record. And Albert Lee suffers a double-A loss to Northfield, but kept it pretty close, so they'll stay in at 11.
Yeah, and you mentioned the top 6 staying the same. Duluth Marshall, their only loss was to Proctor Hermantown way back at the start of the season. And then Mount Westonka, they do have 4 losses, but they've played a tough schedule. They do have a win over Breck, of course, which got them in this week. And then you mentioned Albert Lee as well, a team that played a double-A Northfield team, kept it close, so they stay in. I believe Crookston and Warroad will be playing again here pretty soon, so looking forward to seeing how that shakes out. Of course, the Warroad Warriors will be trying to get some revenge against the Crookston Pirates this time.
Yes, Crookston and Warroad will play in the upcoming Warroad Holiday Tournament. We could also see Orono and Dodge County. They're in the same holiday tournament as well. That would certainly be a good matchup. Well, folks, we want to just invite you to stick around after our closing here tonight. We're going to have a little bit of a mashup of some of our top announcer calls from our announcer team from this past Saturday. We had a very busy Saturday leading up to the holidays, and we just wanted to highlight some of our different announcing crew with some of their best calls from the day. So stick around for that mashup at the end, and we will see you in a couple weeks after the holidays.
And back in behind. Nice stop there by First as he found some real estate. They look out front with time running out. Scores! Ooh. That was in before the buzzer.
Something to be said for that. Hornets work it around. Halverson, there it is. Horton, a shot. She scores. Oh, that is well worked by Edina. That's literally exactly what they were trying to do before, and this time it clicks. Horton to Nelson. Halverson to Nelson to Horton, and 2-0 Edina.
Circle slides it up top to Goldsworthy, to the outside for Avar. Up top, Goldsworthy leaves it for Avar. She shoots, she scores! Lindsay Avar with a power play goal makes it 5-0 Skippers.
Russ, he takes a shot, gets his own rebound. Russ now out to Dawson. Dawson back out to Dietz. Dietz out to Kurtz. He takes a shot and he scores! 2 goals for Tommy Kurtz, and the Cadets take the lead.
Now Hendel comes away with it. Intercepted by the Eagles. And there's a one-timer shot goal! Ian Brudali from Caden Larson, a costly turnover.
She has it back now. She'll let the wrist shot go. Knocked out front shot. Score! Power play goal in front.
The boards. And here comes Etzel. Etzel with a head of steam on her back end. Now she'll cut to the front of the net. Oh my, what a goal!
Offensive pressure. The puck will be held at the blue line after going just wide of the goal. And there's another shot. That will be a goal by Wayman.
Save, rebound. That was Schugel with it. Cohen to Sander. Shot, save, and a goal! They did it! They broke the spell of Hill Murray. Hill Murray is no longer perfect on the power play. And we've got a 2-2 game.
Man down. Back to the point for Millis. Over there to Wilcox. Puck is in the net. He did not sound the whistle. Out in front at the horn. There's a goal. Is it going to count? No goal. The goal is waved off. Hopkins wins 5-4.
Murphy along the far side drops it back to Jacob Garski, who skates back up to the blue line. Garski fans on it. Shoots! Scores! Nathan Garski finishes it for Grand Rapids, and they win it 38 seconds into this overtime period. They finally strike
the other way. This is Jake Risch for the finish. He can't quite finish. Oh, Risch, big shot! Risch calls
bank and with 2 seconds to go in the period. It's 3-0 Storm.
There's Dexheimer to fight off the would-be checker as he races through
3
center.
on 1.
Wow. With speed to the right wing side back door.
Oh,
Scores!
my word.
Oh, we're talking about a 3-on-1 shorthanded led by a defenseman. Finished with authority. Hornets 2-0. Vandertop with a goal.
Well, and I think that might be...